Shalom. Shalom to our professor in this class about the Presbyterianism in the Philippines, Pastor Polly. Shalom. So I will be presenting to you now my research of the elements of Presbyterianism in my chosen subject church for this paper, the Jesus Love Church. So, due to the different denomination of my church, the Bride of Christ Ministry, I am assigned to conduct this research in Matina Christian Church under the leadership of Pastor Peter Kim. But because of the busy schedule of my chosen guide for this research, as he is a graduating student and a member of the SBO of the school, and my schedule also, we haven't met the need of this research. So I decided to visit another church, which was the church of my close friend, a student also in Evangelical Mission College. So their church was named Jesus Love Church, as I have mentioned beforehand. So let's start this presentation. So introduction, let me give you first a brief history of this denomination. So according to my research in online, the Presbyterian Church of the Philippines, or PCP, formerly known as the General Assembly of the Presbyterian Church of the Philippines, it is a fast-growing evangelical Bible-based Reformed church in the Philippines. So it was formally established in 1987. So with the General Assembly convening in September 1996. So it was established in 1987. So the Westminster Confession of Faith, Westminster Shorter Catechism, and Westminster Larger Catechism are the formal doctrinal standards of the denomination. So this denomination, Presbyterian, used these three standards for their doctrines in their denomination. So in my subject church for this research, so it was under the leadership of Reverend Tom Lee, the Jesus Love Church, and it is located in Block 3, Spring Valley, Buhangin, Davao City. So his church is Presbyterian, and they were using Calvinistic theory in their teachings, just like the others. So it's been 4 years since they started their church, as I have asked my close friend or my schoolmate. So it all began with a basic children ministry in the neighborhood, and then they decided to hold a Sunday service at one of their target souls' homes. So it's amazing how a simple children ministry then now it became a church or a house of worship. So as they decided to hold a Sunday service at one of their target souls' homes, so they have 4 families as members of their church already. And eventually, they made the decision to rent a place, which they are now using as their house of worship and where they are currently conducting their ceremonies. So, Jerry Fons Pedrico, so he is one of my schoolmate also in the Evangelical Mission College. He is my senior when I was first year in the AMC. is in third year. So in my second year, he is fourth year. So now I am in a third year. So he is a student pastor, and he supervised the church when it was first hosted by Pastor Tom Lee's family. So the church was first hosted by Pastor Tom and his family, and later on it was supervised by the student Jerry Fons Pedrico. So when it comes to the sermon of the pastor, so according to my schoolmate, a member of this church, the pastor's sermons or the content of their pastor are largely based on the Old Testament. So Pastor Tom Lee's sermon, according to him, are largely based on the scriptures, or maybe in the Torah, the prophets, the Psalms, Proverbs, basically on the Old Testament books. So his type of preaching is in a series format. Okay. So next to the order of worship. So the flow of their worship starts from the citing of the Apostles' Creed. Next is the singing of worships, the praises on worships. Next is the prayer for the opening of the service. And the fourth comes in the offering of the tithes or the love gift. And the fifth is the scripture reading. And the sixth, after the scripture reading, here comes the sermon, the giving of the message or the revelation of God for that day. Next is the closing song, or it could be the response song. Next for the closing song is the closing prayer. And next is the benediction. And lastly, they conducted a fellowship. Next, the church administration of the church. So, plans for the church growth are included in the church administration. So, of course, it's not only in their church, but I believe every church in the Philippines, or not just in the Philippines, but in the whole world, we are aiming for the growth, or we are desiring for the growth of the church. So it is included in the church administration. So the missionary, church employees, and members will conduct house-to-house Bible studies to attain this goal. So their kind of way in achieving this mission of growing the church is through house-to-house visitation and conducting Bible studies to their to the homes of their members. So they also did youth ministry and children's ministry. And finally, they assist members with their basic requirements by organizing visitation to their homes. So they also do youth ministry and children's ministry. So we'll proceed to the Bible study and discipleship program of this church. So as previously stated, their method of Bible study includes visitation of their members' homes. So it includes visiting members' homes on a set timetable, which is also dependent on the number of vacancies within their members. So they are also dependent on the vacancy of the members. So every Wednesday and Saturday during the week, the discipleship program is held. So they have a discipleship guidebook and have been given modules to evaluate their progress. So they conducted their discipleship during Wednesday and Saturday of the week. And they also have a guidebook for the discipleship and modules for the evaluation of the disciples. So that's all for my research of these elements of Presbyterianism. So the references of my research is, of course, the responses of my chosen subject for this research: Jesus Love Church, Block 3, Spring Valley, Buhangin, Davao City, under the leadership of Reverend Tom Lee. And my research, the source of my history of Presbyterianism in the Philippines, Presbyterian Church in the Philippines, Wiki Zero, retrieved from the link given here. So thank you, Pastor Polly, for waiting, and may God bless you. Shalom.